Who's behind door number 31? The President. Words can have a far deeper effect than presence, since words endure forever. It's influence, leadership, vision. In this archetype we find a voice that says, I lead. The President represents the voice of democracy and influence through being the elected leader, and he speaks from his own independent vision. He can be reluctant to assume leadership roles, which makes him an even better leader. The President embodies the voice of influence because he knows authentic leadership is not about titles. It's about using his life force and genius in integrity for the good of the collective. The President paves the ways for others and attain future goals. Through his vision, rather than doing, he leads the way. The President has a close relationship to the originator, the 41st archetype, who is an excellent partner when anticipating the next step in the roadmap that serves the whole. Success, for both of them, isn't individual but collective. The President knows all about trends and patterns and expertly articulates because of his inherent understanding of language. When he speaks of the future in his naturally authoritative way, people automatically listen. The President's humaneness makes him relatable to all. He is the figurehead who carries the people in a beneficial direction towards a new future. The President expresses himself as someone who understands exactly what should happen next. With the Alpha, the 7th archetype, his right hand, they anchor the vision for the direction of the collective. When the President consults with his brother, the Scientist, the 62 archetype, who is also about logic and the impeccable word, their combined mastery of language effortlessly inspires and guides. While others often acknowledge the President's impact on their lives, he doesn't force anything on others. He is clear that it's up to the individual to decide whether or not to implement the guidance they get. The President's primary influence is to help others break out of the very same matrix in which he himself was once caught. He loves helping people out of the narrow neurolinguistic confines of their own conditioning, so they open up their true potential. Humility is the main quality that makes the President a good leader. Knowing how to listen patiently to others with an open mind and heart, he role models a huge step beyond the intellect and into the heart. By listening deeply to others, he uses his own influence and voice to represent them. The President knows how to unify people, delegate and share the power. His keywords are authority, democracy, facilitation. His internal motivator, let's build a better future. His positive attributes are naturally influential, a wizard with words, helps people break out of the matrix. His Achilles heel, needs to be recognized in order to have influence, cares more about the future than the past. People can't help but getting influenced by him. His gene key shadow patterns, victim of the need to be heard, and its dilemma, choice. When he is in his repressive nature, he's deferring. You defer your power to others, thus deliberately setting yourself below them. You care deeply about what others think of you and more than anything fear to be thought of as arrogant. Ironically, such behavior is designed to draw attention, even though it claims the opposite to be the case. In many ways you are even more arrogant than people with a reactive nature. Humility is seen by society as a highly prized and noble accolade, but this kind of false humility hides nothing more than fear. When he is in his reactive nature, he is scornful. This more traditional brand of arrogance assumes itself to be above others because it sees how easily they are conditioned and can therefore be manipulated. What you miss is how deeply you, yourself, are caught up in the same conditioning, since you have a deep-seated need for recognition. Unfortunately, no amount of recognition can ever feel good when it comes from those you perceive to be inferior, so you remain scornful of the very people you influence. This in turn makes you even more angry and disrespectful of human beings. Some of his quotes are, I know all about trends and patterns because I have an inherent understanding. My mastery of language inspires and guides. Life is no longer about individual success, but success as a collective organism. To check the president in yourself, you can ask yourself the following questions. Do you see yourself as a leader? If yes, was this a trait you naturally had as a child, or did it bloom in you over time? If you perceive yourself as a leader, what are the hallmarks of your leadership style? If you've served as a leader or worked with someone else who stepped into a leadership role, what were the things that you or the person you worked with considered? Was it an easy decision? Why or why not? Did it take contemplation? What was the contemplated? What is the difference between leading and leadership roles? What is the difference between self-leadership and leadership? What are 5 adjectives that describe a good leader? Are you good at listening to others? What is arrogance to you? Do you ever find yourself being arrogant? In what situations? Is it easy for you to see the roadmap ahead? How the group moves towards a new future? Do others support your leadership? Do you feel like you have to strategize to get buy-in? In the I Ching, the 31, Lake over Mountain is the hexagram of influence, how we influence others and how we are influenced. How are you influencing others? Where are you serving through truth, innocence and goodness in your life? The 31 reminds us that like attracts like. That's what's in us surrounds us. Where in your life are you surrounded by people, experiences and events that lift you up? Where in your life are you surrounded by what the sage refers to as inferior qualities? And the last one, if you are challenged, how do you persevere in realigning? For more resources, you can go to Unlock Your Design.